Hello friends, I am the Dungeon Tutor. Welcome. Today is day 7 of RPGaDay. It is another topic, and this one's... oh, it's a little weird. The topic is, what is an RPG with good form? Now, they don't explain what they mean by good form. It could be anything from layout. Ooh, this layout is pretty, everything is arranged nicely, and everything is easily explained, and I can find everything. Cool. There's actually two different ways that I can go with this. One would be to show you a game that is incredibly well laid out with all the information easily available at your fingertips. A game like GURPS, which has wonderful indexing so that you can look up anything and then quickly find the page to what you're looking for. It also has information arranged on sidebars that are illustrative of the topics that are at hand as you're reading. And again, you can find everything quickly and easily. It also supports itself well with a full bibliography of all the sources that they draw from so that you can go check source material. They're wonderful books. In general, they're fantastic. Obviously, quality goes up and down a little bit, but they stay quite consistent. But, because the question is so loose, I'm not going to talk about GURPS today. I'm going to talk about a different game that does not have wonderful indexing. It does not have beautiful pictures and layouts. As a matter of fact, its layout is a mess. It's all over the place. The book itself is ugly. The illustrations are awful, showing awful things. The print is all over the place. Fonts of different sizes, everything. But what I can say about it is that it perfectly fits the mad cast that the game itself is. And that game is Mork Borg. Now, Mork Borg, kind of patterned after Dungeons and Dragons to a certain extent. It's a relatively easy roll a d20 and see what you get. It is set in a post-apocalyptic or creeping to an apocalypse. It's a little rough. The world is brutal, absolutely terrible. The creatures are terrifying. You are not really supposed to get much of a sense of any kind of security or even in some cases sanity is really hard to find. Obviously, your experience will probably vary from the different people who run it, but in general, it's a pretty terrible world to be in. This is not something that you live your power fantasy. It's where you survive out of grim determination to prove the world wrong, that you can actually survive and flourish. I guess. I mean, you find your own reasons to go on. But it is, just from its layout, I mean, you have different fonts and different print types all over. There's no rhyme, no reason. You can have multiple changes of fonts and sizes just in the page itself, not just even the headers. And the only thing that this game has in common with any other game that I know is that roughly it's kind of laid out in a form that is familiar. Your character creation is right there throughout the midst of the game after they give you an introduction kind of to the world. A little walkthrough of this awful place that you can run around in a world of Mork Borg. Just to set the tone. And then you get into character creation. You realize your characters are probably going to be awful, terrible people. If you're lucky, you might end up with decent stuff to start with, but you're not going to be any great prize. You can be fantastically lucky in character creation with good stats and good starting gear, and you can still get greased out in your first encounter. It's relatively easy to do. The game is hard, requiring teamwork, requiring, people to work together and understand that this is basically your only chance to survive is with each other. But as far as how this form is, it's dissonant, it's chaotic, it's, again, ugly. It is brought forth to be disturbing, to take what you're used to from other normal games with their neat columns, repeating fonts and text sizes. Your headers are going to be a certain size, your text is going to be a size. Do you go with dual columns? Sure, you could do that. Single column, sure, just looks a little bit more broad. Yeah, this is just all over. For only one reason. Again, it is to make this book appear to be very different. Completely unlike almost any other gaming book you'll ever read. And in its own way, it's kind of a bit of genius. Honestly, would this book be as effective if it was printed like, you know, a Dungeons and Dragons manual? No. No, I don't think so. There are other games that have tried to do weird stuff. Many of them being less readable than this. I mean, Mork Borg isn't hard to process. It's not an overly huge book, and what's there is, you know, presented in a fairly forthright manner. Especially with its love of lots of tables. You can roll randomly for just about everything. Sure, you can do that. No problems. But, what is there? You're going to soak in a lot of misery. A lot of madness. A lot of, why the heck are we even doing this? But there's a reason. As I said, there's catharsis to it. There's a certain element of enjoying being in so horrible of a spot. Some people really do like that kind of thing. They vibe with it. And no judgment. Hey, this is your game if that's the case. This little yellow book here might be exactly what you're looking for. But as far as the form goes, is it pretty? No. It is delightfully ugly, crass, horrible looking. Because the concepts in here are ugly, crass, horrible looking. And for some people, that's perfect. So Mork Borg is what I'm going to hold up for a book with good form. Form follows function, and in this case, the function of this book is to show you a bad world. A place you don't want to be if you were sane. And letting you play around in that for a while. So that's my take. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for joining me. I am the Dungeon Tutor, and I do appreciate you being here. I hope that if you like this, you consider subscribing, liking, all the usual fun stuff, notifying so you see the future videos that I'm going to be putting out, and feel free to share with other people. If they're looking for something that is a bit different from the same old that you can find in many other games, Mork Borg is just exceptional enough that it could be that game that they're looking for. But more than anything, I would love it if you would comment below. Say something about a game that you think has good form, or how you think my game is the perfect form book for you. That would be fantastic. I would love it. I love listening to your comments and responding in kind, and you know, maybe it'll even make a video down the road. But I do hope to see you again. I keep making these videos in the hopes that you will come back and we will have another good time and another good conversation. But until that time, my friends, I hope that between then and now that you, yes, you, get a chance to roll some dice, to play some games, to have some fun. But stay safe out there, my friends. Until that next time, farewell.